The parotid gland is a branched tubulo-acinar or serous secreting gland. Its lobular divisions are clearly visible in this image, exaggerated by the shrinkage, and smaller lobules are bordered by many aggregates of roundish, clear spaces which are scattered fat cells. Fat cells happen to be characteristics of the parotid gland. Connective tissue divides the gland into lobules of various sizes, and you can clearly see profiles of sections through blood vessels containing stained red blood cells and excretory ducts. To show you more details, I'm going to zoom in to this region here. Within the lobules, the secretory acini are easily distinguished from the ducts. The secretory acini have cells with round, basally located nuclei, and the apical half of the cell cytoplasm is filled with secretory granules. These appear eosinophilic or acidophilic, as they contain secretory proteins, similar to what you saw in the exocrine pancreas. Let me explain to you the duct system of this gland. Ducts are named in two ways, by location and by function. Thus, locationally, as I can show you in this image, the ducts of the parotid gland may be interlobular, such as this large one here. And don't confuse it with this small artery, or intralobular, such as this one here, and here, and again, these two over here. Physiologically, there are three types: excretory, striated, and intercalated. The first of these three types is interlobular, while both striated and intercalated ducts lie within the lobule. As I said earlier, connective tissue divides the gland into lobules. The interlobular duct is an excretory type of duct whose function is simply to carry away the secretion. The duct will be surrounded by interlobular connective tissue and lined by an epithelium that can be simple columnar, pseudostratified, or stratified columnar, depending on its size. The acidophilic intralobular ducts are striated ducts, lined with a simple cuboidal or maybe sometimes a columnar epithelium. These ducts have the very important physiological function of regulating the iron content of the saliva. They're not just passive pipes to the surface as the excretory ducts are. Striated ducts shift ions into and out of the secretion flowing through them. These activities require energy, and therefore the ducts have an abundance of mitochondria. Because mitochondria have large amounts of insoluble protein, cells with a lot of them stain bright red with hematoxylin and eosin. Here, the elongated mitochondria are arranged vertically at the base of the cells. If the ducts are especially well preserved, the mitochondria appear as fine radial striations at the rim of the duct. For this reason, striated duct is a synonym for these secretory ducts. Unfortunately, our material is not well preserved to show these striations distinctly, although the image gives indications or a hint of them, which I've arrowed. In previous descriptions of the secretory cells of many glands, I've mentioned eosinophilic staining in the apical regions of the cells representing the proteinaceous secretory granules. They're very obvious in this image. Well, so too in this image is the basophilia I've mentioned previously in the basal region of the cell cytoplasm, where rough or granular endoplasmic reticulum and ribosomes reside alongside the cell nucleus. It was difficult to see in other images I presented, I must admit, but I think the basophilia is very clear in some of these secretory cells. Striated ducts are connected to the purple staining secretory alveoli by even smaller intercalated ducts, formed by 3 to 5 elongated tall squamous or low cuboidal cells, smaller than the secretory acini or alveoli. And finally, a cell type of the intralobular stroma worth mentioning is the plasma cell. It secretes antibodies, mostly immunoglobulin A, as an important component of saliva. They're probably these cells here with a dark nucleus and eosinophilic cytoplasm, with a hint of a clear region which would be the extensive Golgi apparatus. But very hard to really be confident recognizing these cells.